Hey guys, welcome to the ViewBug channel. Have you ever seen images like this and wondered what they're called and how to get it? Well, they are called light trails or long exposures, and in this video, I'm going to actually teach you how to be able to get these shots using the gear that you already have. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, to get started, it's best we learn how this actually works, especially with your camera. Essentially, what you are doing is having a really slow shutter speed set on your camera, and what that is doing is keeping your shutter open for a longer period of time, and it allows anything with motion being captured through your camera to basically capture that entire motion. So for example, like with these light trails here, you can see a car is passing through the frame and that shutter is remaining open for the duration of that movement. So it captures the entire movement. Now, because you're gonna have your shutter open, AKA a slower shutter speed, you're gonna pick up a lot of movement in your camera if you do not have a tripod. So I would highly recommend either using a tripod or placing the camera on something that does not move for the photo itself, because like I said, any type of mini movement that you make holding the camera, that's going to come out in the photo itself and it's going to look blurry and not sharp at all. So you're going to want to make sure that you at least have a tripod or something that you can mount the camera to keep it really steady during the duration that your shutter is open. Now, typically when I am shooting long exposures or light trails, I typically stay around the 5-second mark as far as my shutter speed goes. I like to kind of start at that and work my way from there to really capture what it is I am going for. Now, what I mean by the 5-second rule is basically your shutter speed is basically your shutter is open for 5 seconds before it closes. So it allows a good amount of time, for instance, like a car to pass through your frame and you to capture a 5-second long light trail of that moving object. So this is something that you will need to play with, especially when you are out there shooting, to find out exactly what works for you in regards to how long of a light trail you want. A mode that a lot of cameras have these days is called bulb. B-U-L-B. And what this essentially does is it allows you to fully control the shutter speed of your camera. So inside your camera, typically you'll have a few settings between 5 and 30 seconds, or I guess it could be even 1 second up to 30 seconds as far as how long your shutter speed is going to be. But if you wanted to go even further than that, or have an interval that your camera doesn't support, like 7.5 seconds for example, if you put your camera on bulb, it will allow you to take as long of a shot as you want with no constraints at all. And what I mean by that is essentially you can hold down the trigger button either via a remote or physically pressing the shutter button, and the shutter will remain open until you physically release the button itself. One thing that you might have noticed is a lot of light trail and long exposure shots like these are shot at night. That is because having your shutter open for such a long period of time lets a lot more light into the image itself. And to combat that, a lot of people just shoot at night. But with that said, you're going to want to make sure that you also have a low ISO when you are shooting these images, because typically your f-stop is going to be fairly high, once again to combat a bunch of light coming into the sensor itself, because your shutter speed is being open for so long. So I typically will have my ISO at the bare minimum that it can be at. For my camera in particular, it goes to ISO 100, and then from there I'll basically work with my aperture and my shutter speed to properly expose my image. And guys, that is gonna wrap up this video. Get out there, start shooting, have fun, and as always, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, guys, consider doing so, as we have tons of fresh new content coming out for you every single week. Also, don't forget over at viewbug.com, we also have a ton of really cool contests going on that you guys can enter your images in to potentially win some really awesome prizes. So if that is something you're interested in, there will be a link down below. And once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.